It was a dark and dreary night at Tidmouth Sheds. All the engines were settling down to rest after a hard day's work.
Figures we'd have a storm like this just a few days before Halloween.
What do you mean, Edward?
The winds change around this time of year. It's almost as if they can tell when they are
Oh, not your silly supernatural stories again, Edward.
Yeah, we've heard them already. There's only so many times you can hear, "He returns to haunt the scrapyard every year, searching for his lost whistle," before it stops being scary.
Your stories are almost as old and tired as you are.
Pot's calling the kettle black a bit, eh, Gordon?
Oh no.
Bill and Ben?
And what are you two doing here? I thought they kept you at the clay pits.
We're not exactly prisoners, James. We can leave when we want to. Besides, who's gonna stop us?
Do you have a reason for coming here, or did you just come to annoy us?
We clearly have trucks. Something the Fat Controller wanted delivered tonight. Said it was urgent.
Couldn't it have waited until morning? I have the morning off from the kipper for once. I don't know how I'm supposed to get any sleep knowing you two demons are lurking around the yard.
You, Henry, wanting to delay important work? Oh, that doesn't sound like you at all. If I didn't know any better, I would say that we're dealing with a tender snatcher.
I beg your pardon?
Oh, don't tell me you're actually considering that, Henry. It's Bill and Ben. I trust their word as far as they can travel on one tank of water. At least Edward's stories admit they're pure fiction.
It's not a story, it's a fact. Yeah, tender snatchers are a real problem.
And what exactly is a tender snatcher?
A tender snatcher is an alien from outer space. They aren't built in workshops like you and me. They're grown in pods on their mothership, like how people grow vegetables.
Why? What for?
To take over our planet, obviously. Don't you know anything about aliens?
And how are they supposed to do that?
That's where the tender snatching comes in. They can disguise themselves as us engines, you see. Take our place without anybody noticing they're a duplicate, if they're careful enough about it. But the one thing they can't shapeshift into, tenders. So whenever they come to invade a planet, and they start taking the place of engines on their railways, the first thing they do is steal and hide any tenders they can find. They try to look vulnerable, but meanwhile, they're just snatching more tenders and taking more engines' places the longer they stay around, until they take over the entire planet.
Oh, that's a nice story. Edward really taught you two well. I was almost spooked. Right, Gordon?
Not even almost. Drop your trucks off and go away.
Flying saucer weather, this is. The mothership must be pulling into orbit.
Go away! Those twins are little demons. I don't know how you put up with them, Edward.
They're not too bad once you get to know them.
Oh my! What was that?
Good to finally get a good night's sleep. Something feels wrong. Why does something feel wrong? Is it in front of me? No. Is it behind me? Ah!
Henry! What's wrong?
My tender! It's gone! Ah!
Oh, nonsense, Henry. Tenders can't up and leave on their...
What is it now?
My tender! My beautiful, beautiful tender's gone too!
Ah!
Why are you screaming?
Ah!
Gordon, your tender!
It's gone too!
What on earth are you talking about? What is the meaning of this?
Well, it's obvious, isn't it?
Your tenders got snatched!
I assure you I have the search and rescue team already on the lookout for your tenders. Unfortunately, until they can be recovered, you will have to stay where you are. The moment I've tracked them down, you will be the first to know.
Oh,
Yes, sir. Bill and Ben can't have been right about the aliens. Could they? I mean, they did say the storm was the perfect cover for their mothership to pull into orbit. Are they getting ready to invade the planet? Are we
Oh, do be quiet, Henry.
I've never seen anything like it. Dancing up there in the storm, lightning flashing all around it. Oh, I've never been more frightened of anything in my whole life.
That doesn't mean it's from outer space.
Morning, all. What's going on?
Paxton here just saw something peculiar within the storm last night, and I'm trying to tell him that it wasn't anything. Because it wasn't anything.
But I've never seen anything like it before. It just looks so... alien.
Or perhaps it's something people use that we don't know about.
What exactly did you see, Paxton?
I don't know what I saw. I just saw something white and disc-shaped up in the clouds during the storm last night. It floated there for a moment, and then a flash of lightning, it was gone. Oh, I think it was an alien spaceship.
Which I'm sure it wasn't. There's a logical explanation for everything, Paxton. It must have been the lightning reflecting off the clouds. Whatever it may have been, it certainly wasn't aliens from outer space.
I mean, if it were aliens, it would certainly explain Gordon, James, and Henry's tenders going missing this morning.
Missing tenders?
They disappeared in the night. Do you think there could be aliens out there, Boko?
Don't tell me you actually believe Paxton's story. I would have thought you were more sensible than that, Edward.
I'm not saying there are. I'm asking if you think there could be. Anywhere out there, really.
Not I. Bit of a numbers game, innit? Do you not know how big the universe is? 94 bloody billion light years across!
What's a light year?
How far light travels in a year, obviously. God, light travels fast in case you didn't know. It's what they use to measure distance in space. Like how we use kilometers. It's just way farther, which means the universe is enormous. There's bound to be other life out there somewhere. They'd have to go very, very fast to get here. Goody!
Thank you, Hannah. Like she said, if there were any alien spaceships, which there aren't, they'd have to travel billions of, light years to get here. It's incredibly unlikely.
But not impossible.
Morning, chaps!
Morning, Harold. Everything all right?
Oh, yes, just strange things afoot. I don't think I've ever had such a bizarre patrol agenda before. I have to track down 3 tenders and a UFO today.
A UFO? Bloody aliens, I knew it!
A UFO?
Unidentified flying objects, mate! That means Pax did see an alien spaceship!
Some farmers say they saw something in the skies above their fields last night. Doesn't mean it was from space, just means we don't know what it is and have to make sure a dangerous object isn't in our airspace. Did you happen to see where it may have gone, Paxton?
No, I'm afraid.
Ah, well, whatever it is will turn up eventually. Tally-o, chaps!
I told you I saw something.
Yes, you saw something, not an alien spaceship.
That'll be my whistle. Goodbye, you two.
Goodbye, Edward.
Safe travels.
Don't get abducted by LGMs!
LGMs?
Little green men, obviously. Keep up.
I wonder if there could be aliens on Sodor.
Dear, oh dear. I wonder if I'll ever see my tender again. Oh.
Psst! Gordon!
What?
What do you think the tender snatchers are planning to do next?
Why are you whispering?
Shh! Because they might be listening.
By they, do you mean the aliens? There's no way that anyone is listening to us in here, never mind or...
If we don't get out of here, I'll never see my forest again. Oh, I hope these aliens aren't real.
I think Henry is the tender snatcher.
And I think you're an idiot.
No, listen! I think he's been a tender snatcher longer than either of us had known about it. Think back. Who was the first one to bring them up when the tenders disappeared? Who's been constantly reminding us that they're around? And who went to crew as one engine and then came back as another?
James, are you implying that Henry has been an imposter for years without either of us figuring it out?
I'm implying that tender snatchers can replicate us pretty easily.
Since when did you become an expert?
This is bigger than either of us realize. Making us start to panic by taking our tenders might be the first step in their invasion plan.
What?
Nothing, Henry. You just have some coal dust on your face.
Oh, thanks.
Good morning, Neville.
The bees are dying at an alarming rate.
And I see you're having a good morning as well. Did you hear about the big engine's tenders going missing?
It's all anyone's talking about.
Paxton says he saw an alien spaceship in the sky last night. Do you think there really could be aliens out there, Neville?
If there was alien life, it would have passed over this backwater planet ages ago. No, Edward, I believe that we are completely and utterly alone in the universe, and if we weren't, we are far too stupid a species to take anything productive away from an encounter with alien life. They take one look at our primitive society and run for the hills, and I can't honestly say I blame them. We're always going to be completely alone on this ball of dust. Nothing we will do have any impact on this planet outside of our own. And eventually the sun is going to explode, reduce everything you and I have ever known to dust and ash, and render every single moment of our meaningless existence pointless.
Ah, I see.
See you later, Edward. If the sun doesn't flash for our planet.
Never do a thought exercise with that engine.
Oh, I hope they don't come for my brain next.
Henry, my good engine, may I ask you a question?
Sure, Gordon.
Just wondering about what that year you spent in the tunnel. What was that like? What year was that? It must have been,
1922?
Shoot, he's good.
Yes, 1922. Thank you, Henry. Was on the tip of my tongue.
You're welcome, Gordon.
Oh, yes, and one more thing. That time when you borrowed my buffers, in the old days. What was it you called them? I remember it being quite funny. I just can't recall what it was.
That's a long time ago. I don't even know if I remember.
Yet you remember 1922.
Are you talking about the buffers? I had no clue you found it that funny. I was quite proud of it at the time.
Yes, thank you, Henry. And how could I forget your buffers? This is stupid. You're stupid. I don't know why I believed you for a second.
You just aren't thinking crafty enough. I know he's a tender snatcher, and I have just the question to prove it. Give me a go.
Proceed.
Hey, Henry.
Yes, James?
What color was I when I first arrived on the railway?
Black?
Ha! You hesitated!
What do you mean I hesitated? Why don't you know the answer to that question? Since when did it become Interrogate Henry Day? Do you actually think I'm a tender snatcher?
No!
Yes. I cannot believe you! What on earth could I have done if I was an alien? I've been stuck here the whole time with you!
You were the first one to bring them up when our tenders were gone this morning.
It was a salient thought, James. I just happened to be the first one to notice. It could have come up for any one of us the moment we noticed our tenders were missing. For all we know, you could be a tender snatcher, grown in a pod, creating all this suspicion and paranoia. Sounds like something an alien would want to do to me.
That's just what an alien would say.
Gentlemen, we are civilized, so let's resolve this in a civilized manner. Henry, are you a tender snatcher from outer space?
Obviously not!
James, are you a tender snatcher from outer space?
Over my scrapped body?
Good, that's resolved. Now let's just be quiet and wait it out until the search and rescue team finds our tenders without turning into animals.
Well, do you think there could possibly be aliens out there somewhere?
Well, sure, Edward. Somewhere. Likely not so, though. This is the first sighting we've heard out here. Those wee space beasties have their spots they like to come back to.
What do you mean?
There's a wee village back in Scotland called Bonnybridge. It's so tiny the railway didn't reach out there. But if there is any place space aliens are going to show up, it'd be in Bonnybridge. I didn't know what it is that makes them keep coming back, but there's always around 300 sightings a year around there.
300 sightings?
Oh, A decent chunk of them are just lightning strikes, Edward. Sometimes they're harder to explain though. Remember what we heard about what happened out in Deckmont Woods? How could I forget? Spooky stuff right there.
What happened?
'Twas a few years back. Fella was out walking his dog through the woods, minding his own business, when he saw a flying saucer sitting in the middle of the woods. Said it tried to pull him into orbit. Only reason anyone believes him is that he came back with all his clothes shredded.
Whoa.
But like we said, most of them are just tricks of light. Highly doubt there are aliens on Sodor, unless they have anything to show for it. Could be out there in the world though, you never know.
Oh, that'll be me. Goodbye, all.
Goodbye, Edward!
Henry,
What?
we have a problem.
I don't want to hear it. You thought I was an alien from outer space, and I found that extremely rude.
Henry, I'm sorry for thinking you were a tender snatcher. It was a lapse in judgment, and it will never happen again. But there is a tender snatcher here.
What?
Shh! I don't know how I couldn't have seen it before. If an alien were to ingratiate himself among us, it would obviously choose to impersonate the one of us that would make us let our guard down. The weakest link. Tell me, Henry, who is the weak link among the three of us?
This is ridiculous! All this paranoia and suspicion. It's awful for my nerves. For all I know, you could be a tender snatcher, Gordon.
What?
That's what a tender snatcher would say.
James, you stay out of this. You were grown in a pod.
Oh, so when did I become a part of this? There's no way I could possibly be a tender snatcher. My bright red paint is inimitable. Okay, I will admit that is not incredible logic, but I'm not an alien. Ask me something only I would know.
What were your break blocks made of when you arrived?
Wood.
Fair enough.
James, I am sorry for accusing you. Feeling a bit cooped up in this shed. I'm sure this will all be resolved soon.
All right, Gordon. Apology accepted.
Edward! I believe I found Paxton's UFO, chap!
A balloon?
A weather balloon! A team from the Meteorology Institute sent it out into the storm last night to get some readings and lost track of it. It must have drifted off course.
And the lightning reflecting off must have made it look like a spaceship when Paxton saw it.
Precisely. Weather balloons get mistaken for alien spaceships all the time. They're at least half of the UFOs I'm typically sent out to investigate. Tell Paxton there's nothing to worry about, eh? Nothing out of this world in my airspace.
Thanks for tracking it down, Harold. I'll make sure to let him know.
Cheers! Keep up the good work!
I wonder where those tenders ended up.
Over the ocean, my Bonnie lies over the sea.
Afternoon, Salty.
Ahoy, Edward! Smooth sailing today, me hearty.
For me at least, Salty. But not for the big engines. They woke up today with their tenders missing.
They woke up with... You're telling me their tenders have been snatched?
Believing one of Salty's stories, Edward? I would have thought you'd be sensible enough to know he mixed them all up.
Shh! Don't spoil me trade secrets.
The Tender Snatchers is one of your stories, Salty?
That it is. Experimenting with genre, me hearty. There's only so many tales you can get out of giant squids and mermaids. Surprised it spread far enough for the big engines to think they've seen them, though.
Well, their tenders are gone. Salty, who exactly did you tell that story to?
Say, Henry,
Yes, James?
I have a sneaking suspicion.
And what would that suspicion be?
I think the real Tender Snatcher has been pitting us against each other all along.
I do believe you're right. And I also have a sneaking suspicion.
Oh, do you really?
I do. I think if a Tender Snatcher were to impersonate one of us, it would be the one who claims to be the fastest and strongest, the most capable.
It'd be the one of us that's been playing both sides.
Not letting us know which way is up.
Constantly saying the Tender Snatchers aren't much of a problem.
We know it's you!
You can't hide under the radar forever, spaceman!
This is ridiculous. There's absolutely no way I'm an alien.
Just the thing an alien would say!
This is turning into complete and utter madness. How did we even get set up? Bill and Ben, those little demons were here last night. They have to have something to do with this.
Don't you try and shift the blame, Tender Snatcher. We know you're the duplicate.
You're not taking over our planet today.
Listen, you idiots. They're the ones who told the...
You can't appeal to authority with us. We're sharper than that.
Trying to shift the blame to
I
someone
have my
else.
doubts
I bet the
about
real
you.
Gordon taught you that.
Do be quiet, Henry.
Okay,
No
you
one's
two, that's
talking.
enough. That's
Keep
enough
out.
shouting.
I
Just
just
calm down now,
can't
please.
believe
Also, if anyone wants to stay in the video, please have a chat with me.
You can't hide the
You
truth
two,
from us.
please,
You
just
can't
stop
hide
yelling.
from the truth.
Bill, Ben, where are you?
Edward! What a pleasant surprise! What brings you to the clay pit?
I know you took the tenders.
What? No! Oh, that's crazy talk. What tenders? Ben! Where should I hide these? Oh.
How did you two pull this off?
Oh, this? This was easy. Couple up in front, pull them onto the turntable, turn them around, take their tenders, turn them back around, push them in, and none the wiser. James was the toughest. The other two are such heavy sleepers.
But why?
They were being rude to you, Edward, calling you old and tired. You're a lot more awake than they are, that's for sure.
They call me things like that all the time.
We know that, but that's not okay. Yeah, you know more about anything than all three of those blowhards put together. It's not fair that they can just insult you and get away with it.
I appreciate your concern, but I promise that I am more than capable of defending myself. Gordon, James, and Henry are just that, blowhards, and I know not to take things they say seriously. And so should you. Not worth the time spent fretting over their insults. Now, may I please have the tenders back?
Fine. Do it your way.
If anyone is the Tender Snatcher, it's you two. You're in cahoots, trying to trick me into thinking it's 2-on-1, but no, it's 1-on-2. The aliens have already taken over.
Just what an alien would say. You can't fool me. I've got eyes like a hawk. I know an alien, Gordon, when I see one. Alien.
Can we please stop shouting?
That's exactly what an alien would say.
That's enough shouting. Can we just calm down now, please? Gordon, James, please.
I found your tenders.
What?
We're saved!
Edward beat the aliens!
Wherever did they turn up?
Bill and Ben took them last night. They said it was in retaliation for you calling me old and tired.
Oh, that makes sense.
Well, that was obvious with hindsight.
That does make more sense than aliens.
Let's get you lot sorted out.
The next day, the big engines returned to work, having been reunited with their lost tenders.
Henry, James, my dear engines, shall we agree to never speak of this tender snatcher business again?
Oh, absolutely.
I was under the impression that was already happening.
Wonderful.
Oh, was that my guard's whistle? I think I might need to be off.
Actually, that might have been my whistle. Wait for me, Henry.
I can deal with some silly tank engine twins. Go!
I've never seen the big engines leave the station in such a hurry. They seem spooked. Indeed, Bill. One would think they saw a flying saucer. No way. Come on, Bill. Coming.